The US dollar has been the world dominant reserve currency since 1944, but can it retain its position? It seems not, because the BRICS de-dollarization campaign is gaining more traction, and many more countries, especially in Global South, have jumped on its train. Recently, Nigeria, one of the Africa's strongest economies, has become the latest country to implement the BRICS de-dollarization policy by selling its crude oil in its local currency. This is remarkable, but it begs the question, why did Nigeria decide to ditch the US dollar for Naira, given the fact that it has a fairly stable relationship with the US? What does Nigeria have to gain from selling its crude oil in Naira? And what does it mean for Africa? Let's find out. Some few months ago, the Nigerian Finance Minister, Wale Edun, confirmed in a post on X that Nigeria would begin to sell crude oil to the recently established Dangote refinery and other local refineries in the country's local currency, the Naira. This move was approved last year, July, by the Federal Executive Council, ensuring that 450,000 barrels of crude oil allocated for domestic use are sold in Naira rather than dollars. Apparently, the Nigerian economy is largely determined by its major resource, crude oil. The sale of crude oil in dollars for decades has consistently only weakened the Nigerian local currency against the dollar in the international market. This is the case with every other African country's economics. Despite the implementation of the monetary policies and practices suggested by the Western-led IMF and World Bank, the local currency has remained weak, leading to high rates of inflation and high cost of living. Recently, the Naira-dollar rates have reached unprecedented levels, exacerbating the situation and driving up cost of basic commodities. This was what prompted the senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, to advise the Nigeria government to ditch the US dollar and follow the practice of BRICS. According to Femi Falana, one way to strengthen the dollar is for the federal government to follow BRICS' ideas of de-dollarization and sell crude oil in local currency, the Naira and not the US currency. The state advocate called on the government to ignore practices made by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, and begin working alongside BRICS theory to strengthen Nigeria's native economy and local currency. He added, the Nigeria must join BRICS and begin selling oil in local currency. This way, Nigeria will be in demand, and the demand will boost the value of the Naira. With what was being announced in the news by the finance minister in some few months ago, the Nigerian government heeded the words of Mr. Femi Falana by refining its crude oil locally in Nigeria and selling it in Naira. Nigeria aims to save billions of dollars that will be spent on fuel imports, thereby stabilizing dollar exchange rates. This move would also stabilize pump prices, potentially resulting in lower and more predictable fuel costs for the country's citizens. And overall, it will lead to the general improvement of the Nigeria economy as cost of things will reduce. However, it's pretty much surprising that Nigeria has made this move, because historically and even in the present times, Nigeria has had a stable relationship with the West, particularly the US, unlike the countries in the Central Sahel, where they have ditched the West in favor of non-Western countries. Nigeria has shown no indication of backing away from the West. In a surprising turn of events, the country has indicated that it wants to join BRICS alliance. This was revealed last 2 years after BRICS summit, which added 2 African countries, Egypt and Ethiopia, as part of its new members. It seems that despite Nigeria's stable relationship with the US, it's like every other African country is looking for something better. Since BRICS is offering countries a multipolar world free from the denomination of a few Western countries, Nigeria decided to jump ship and move on with